removed from Money in the Bank, what did we actually get from Smackdown Live? To be honest, not a lot. In fact, I believe they made a very big boneheaded move that I do not agree with. And I think I'll use that for my title. Let's put it in this context. You do a pay-per-view that is historical for your company. Having women as the focus of that pay-per-view. Even though it was not the general focus, it was a focus. And then you do what I'm going to be explaining in a minute. I just feel that they made a big mistake. But before we get to that, let's get to everything else. First thing I'm going to talk about is Jimmy Uso versus Big E Langston, or Big E, the warden. I don't remember what he called him now. But the thing was that, was it funny, the segment? Yeah. Was the match good? It was good. And the thing is that even though it is one-on-one, which I really hope they don't do too much interaction between each other, I'm still alright with this feud. You got the Usos, who just know how to talk, who are doing it well. Then you got New Day, who's been doing it well for a while now, who was put on top of the food chain just like the Usos. And when you put these two together, they just know how to do proper work. And I'm not talking about the ring work. I want to see them talk to each other more often. Because the match quality between them is great chemistry. But the story these two should be more important than the matches. This is the thing that not many people get. If you only give us a match, it's not enough. If you want amateur wrestling, watch amateur wrestling. Because this is professional wrestling. It has a spectacle. It has a story. And I see them potentially having a great story over at least a 2 to 3 month period if they do more talking and fighting between each other than they actually do wrestling. Give them that, and I do believe that people will love it. In the end, it was Big E who won. But you wonder where they're going to go next. Now, this also goes along with the Hype Bros. Hype Bros went to Daniel Bryan saying, Daniel, hey, I got hurt, Zack Ryder. We had an opportunity, Zack Ryder. We should get that opportunity back, Zack Ryder. Now, what do we exactly get? We get the Usos going up against Hype Bros. What? The blue hell. I would understand the Hype Bros going against the Fashion Police. I would understand the Hype Bros going against the Ascension. But going directly after the Usos, while they're dealing with New Day, of course they're going to do some type of screwy ending when New Day interferes and the Hype Bros will get an opportunity eventually. But I'd rather see the Hype Bros build up. Back in action. Why are you rushing this? I don't understand it. That's a boneheaded move I do not agree with. Now, Dolph Ziggler versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, this was an interesting match because you had Dolph Ziggler, who is a mat-based wrestler, against a Shinsuke Nakamura, who is more of a Japanese semi-high-flying and high-impact wrestler. It was a very good match. And in the end, as I expected, Dolph Ziggler ate the pin. If anyone believes Dolph Ziggler, Nick Theodore should stay in the WWE because he's such an incredible athlete. You need to reevaluate yourself because he needs to leave. He needs to leave. He has been used the same way for 6 straight years. A enhancement jobber that sometimes is thrown into the main title scene because they have no option but to throw him in there. And now, compared to before when they had no choice but to throw him in there because he knew how to do work properly, now they just throw him anywhere due to the fact that everyone likes him. And they don't let him get anywhere. This is just a joke with him. So if I was him, and as much as I'm getting maybe at least $1 million or $2 cold $1 million a year, maybe more, counting on how well they pay him, I leave. What do I gain by staying in the WWE? As much as I'm going around the world having money I'm a joke. I'm not getting anywhere. That's just me. Now, the Randy Orton interview was actually pretty good, but there was a weird pause. You guys tell me, did you feel comfortable seeing that pause after he finished talking? He was just sitting there. And I got the picture in my face. Just quiet, staring at him, the camera. It just felt awkward. Look, Randy Orton is... It's not his voice that's the issue. It's that he has a character that's very, very unflexible. He's either going to be dead in your face, or he's either going to be dead in the ring with you. He's not very good in between. So you need to make his segments short, sweet, to the point. And they did that, a short conversation. But instead of just ending it there and just cutting the camera, they kept it on his face to try and give more emphasis of his emotion. And he doesn't do emotion well. Like I said, either he's going to knock your head off or he's going to talk your head off. It doesn't work in between to give emotion. It just doesn't work. So I felt that was ineffective. Now, since we are talking about a Randy Orton, we should talk about the Jinder versus the Luke Harper. I was surprised to see them throw Luke Harper at him. I was. But it's understandable why. Because they need to give him someone to eat. He has to eat somebody. He has to beat someone. But I would have thought they would throw a smaller competitor against him. Not a full-size Luke Harper. I would have thought they'd throw a Sin Cara at him. As far as I know, Sin Cara is still on the roster. And Apollo Crews, well, you can't throw Apollo Crews on there because he is on the other roster. I'm sorry. I just remembered he's on Raw since he's really not doing something, but he is with Titus O'Neil. I'm sorry, I kind of forgot. But Sin Cara, as far as I understand, is still on Smackdown. You could have done something with him there. And I'm just feeling like, why? I understand why, but why? In the end, it was a Baron Corbin who distracts not just Jinder Mahal, but Luke Harper. Now, I'm sure everyone's going to say he didn't get distracted. In a sense, he did. Because of Baron Corbin coming around, then Jinder Mahal getting distracted, the Singh brothers get involved, and then that's his distraction that basically kills his momentum and he loses the match. Then you got Randy Orton coming out and kicking his ass along with the Sin brothers. The Singh brothers, not Sin. Singh brothers, I'm sorry. But in the end, wasn't an effective situation for Jinder Mahal. Honestly, no. I keep saying this and I'm going to keep saying it. Jinder Mahal must win a clean match eventually. As it is good to see that the Singh brothers are doing their job. They're doing distractions. They're keeping them safe. But eventually, and I'm saying this very clearly, if you're going to really do something more with Jinder Mahal in the future, eventually you have to let him at least win 1 or 2 matches on his own. And then the rest of the time, he has to have help. You must show that legitimately he can kick ass on his own. That's just me. I just don't believe having him win that way every single time is helping him. Now, I got to do this. I got to get it over with because it is the one thing next to the most boneheaded move in SmackDown history later in the night that I can't believe they're doing again. Naomi has a nice interview. She looks gorgeous. She is the most beautiful woman. I do love her. Then you got the ravishing Lana, who is a gorgeous woman in her own right. As I said before, either one of these women in real life are such sweethearts. You want to marry them and spend the rest of your life with them. But then you have 2 problems. One, Lana's not ready as a wrestler. She sucks. She's too green. Then Naomi, I'm not saying is beyond stupid, but I'm saying this as Naomi. She in her character right now is showing a lot of, I don't want to say it, but I have to say it. She's being boneheaded because she's full of herself almost. Yeah, she won her last match. She did. But it was because of Carmella's distraction. Now you're going to give Lana a second chance. I said it before and I'll say it again. If Naomi jobs to Lana either because of screwy ending or she wins clean, I will frickin' riot. Because it's stupid. It is. Naomi should not be jobbing to Lana. It's bad enough they're going to eventually have her job to Charlotte. Because of the situation that's about to be talked about in a few minutes. But it's like, really? Really? Again? Come on. Now, let's move on to the... What do we got here? Not much left to talk about. We didn't see the Fashion Police. And I'm kind of surprised we didn't. I would like to see them. But in the end, what we did get was the Kevin Owens Face of America Open Challenge. And two people came out. You got AJ Styles and you got Chad Gable. Jason Jordan, I think, is still out. He's hurt, so he still can't work with him. So in the end, what did we get? We got a Kevin Owens saying, I want someone from here to challenge me. You got AJ Styles, who's not from there. And Chad Gable, now I'm not saying Jack Gable. Chad Gable, an Olympic gold medalist, pretty much says, I just moved here today. In this arena. I got an apartment in the back. That's basically what he was saying. So in the end, we get a match. An impromptu match. In this open challenge. Was it a good match? Yeah, it was. For what it was. Which is a setup for an AJ going up against a Kevin Owens. I understand this 100% because in actuality, it's good to see that Kevin Owens will work with AJ Styles. In fact, if I really think about it carefully, because of what happened with Dolph and Shinsuke Nakamura, because I know that situation is going to be over for a while, it would actually be good to see AJ Styles win the US title and then face Shinsuke Nakamura months from now. Unless they're going to rush this like idiots, it's good to see that AJ is going to go after that title. But the question is going to be, and this is a good question, how are they going to build this feud between them? Are they going to use the, well, I'm the face of America? No, you're a Canadian, a Frenchie. I'm a real American. Or are you going to do the independent thing? Now, they haven't done the independent thing much. But I would suggest they do talk about it a little bit more, particularly about talking about the times they had met each other in the ring outside the WWE. I think that would be actually a good thing. Now, finally, the end of the night. Oh, breathe. Breathe. Daniel Bryan comes out. Good to see him. Congrats on your baby. I'm happy for you. But I am pissed as hell at you for doing the most stupidest thing in Smackdown history. He calls out all the women, including the James Ellsworth. Well, he didn't call him, but he came out anyway. And James Ellsworth pissed off Daniel Bryan at one point where he pretty much says, I'm going to knock you down, I'm going to punch you out, I'm going to make you stop breathing, and then I'm going to fire your ass. I was surprised about that. I was. And mind you, throughout the night, the women were talking, trying to say, hey, this is unfair. We deserve a better opportunity. And I got to say this about Charlotte. Charlotte can't talk. If anyone tells me Charlotte can talk really well, explain to me where. Because she sounded so choppy when she was talking to Daniel Bryan. It was pathetic. And everyone is saying that Tamina can't talk. Tamina sucks. When she was right next to Natalya, she talked better in that short little conversation she had than a Charlotte did. And when you got to the ring, Charlotte didn't sound so good. And I know Tamina botched because instead of just speaking over Charlotte, she acted timid. And I'm not saying that it's all great with Tamina. It isn't. I'm not saying that. Tamina has a point. She's not really that good. But I understand the reason why she's not good, because she's never been pushed. If a person's never been pushed, they never see what their true potential is. But anyway, taking away from that, what do we exactly get? Daniel Bryan takes the Money in the Bank briefcase and says clearly we're going to do a rematch with the Money in the Bank briefcase next week, which is the most boneheaded move I've ever seen in my life. But, and I don't agree with it, but I do agree if they do something beyond stupid, which will make people even more angrier, which will validate the Money in the Bank match. You want to know what I mean? It's simple. Let's say next week we get the Money in the Bank women's briefcase match. Well, the Money in the Bank ladder match. Sorry, I don't know why I botched. Anyway, James Ellsworth is not barred from being there. He's allowed to be there. And guess what? He does the same freaking thing. If James Ellsworth does the same thing, it will be brilliant. If it's one of the other women getting the thing, like a Charlotte, it will be the most stupidest boneheaded move the WWE's ever made. Let Carmella win the thing again. The same way. Or let her win it legitimately. Validate Carmella, who actually did a wonderful job in the very beginning of the show. Talk better than Charlotte. Talk better than Becky Lynch. Talk better than Natalya, who sounded stupid talking about her cats. Even Tamina, she talked better than Tamina. And I do love me Tamina. I do believe she deserves a shot at that title, at least have it once. But in the end, Carmella sounded the best across all the women throughout the night. So if I'm correct, Carmella wins that match next week, either because James Ellsworth gives her the title again, that's the briefcase, or she actually wins it by herself. Either way, Carmella must win it. If she doesn't, it's the most boneheaded move I've ever seen in wrestling. You ruined something that could have potentially been great with a Carmella. But this is just me. Now, I hope you enjoyed the Zane's view. Please give me a comment below. I hope you enjoyed the new intro. I'm going to see if I'm going to keep this one for a while. I don't care who changes. That was kind of hard to produce. Even though don't look it, it was hard. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.